Okay, I think we're all set, Doug.
Okay, thanks, Pat.
Sure.
Good morning. This is Doug Gross, Chair of New York Creates, and I'd like to welcome everybody to the meeting. Due to public health concerns, this meeting is being held via WebEx as authorized by Chapter 417 of the laws of 2021. A webcast is available for members of the public to listen to the meeting. We welcome those who are listening to the meeting via webcast today. Now do a roll call of the participants in today's meeting, beginning with the directors. Michael Abbott.
Present.
Anita Brown. Anita.
I don't think she's joined us yet.
Okay. Christine Chung.
Present, thank you.
Heather Hage.
Hello.
Doreen Harris.
Good morning.
Dr. Mengling Shao.
Present.
Kristen Proud.
Present.
Kenneth Tompkins.
Present.
I'd also like to recognize the advisory representatives designees. First is Kevin Eunice, Chief Operating Officer of Empire State Development, who is the designee of the Chief Executive Officer of Empire State Development, and Dr. Todd Larson, Acting President of SUNY Polytechnic Institute, who is the designee of the Chancellor of the State University of New York. I'd also like to recognize the member representatives, Emily Conchala, who represents the Research Foundation of the State University of New York, and Michael Frame, representing SUNY Polytechnic Institute Foundation. I'll now do a roll call of the officers who are participating in the meeting. Patricia Arciero Craig.
Morning, present.
Paul Kelly.
Present.
Scott Bateman.
Present.
Tim Taylor.
Present.
Amy Cody.
Present.
And Patricia Buckland.
Present.
Now, I'd ask everybody to mute their phones when they are not speaking to help minimize the background noise. Also, please identify yourself when speaking and making a motion. And for voting, we will call out each director's name for their vote so we can accurately record the vote. I will now ask if anyone has a conflict of interest with respect to the items on today's agenda. If so, please make an appropriate disclosure on the record now and recuse yourself from any discussion or vote with regard to this item. Now, I would like to have a motion to approve the minutes of the New York Creates meeting of December 14th, 2021. Is there a...
Doug, it's Kristen. I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it. This is Mengling.
Thank you. Are there any corrections? Hearing none, I will ask each director for their vote. Michael Abbott?
Aye.
I don't think Anita has joined yet. Christine Chung?
Abstain as I was not present at the meeting.
Okay. Heather Hage?
Aye.
Doreen Harris?
Aye.
Dr. Mengling Shao?
Aye.
Kristen Proud?
Aye.
And Kenneth Tompkins.
Aye.
And I'd also like my vote to be aye and registered as such. Minutes are approved. Now I'd like to introduce Kristen Proud, Chair of the Finance Committee, for the Finance Committee report. Kristen?
Good morning, everyone. The first item on the Finance Committee report this morning is the FSMC Resolution number 203. It's the assignment transaction related to Athenix Inc. I have a motion to consider and adopt FSMC Resolution number 203, approving and authorizing agreements with Athenix Inc. and Immunity Bio Inc.
This is Ken. I move that.
Thank you, Ken.
Christine Chung, second.
Thank you, Christine. So for the background on this agenda item, in 2015, FSMC entered into certain agreement for medical technology research, development, innovation, and commercialization alliance with Athenix Inc., which, among other things, contemplated the construction of a 409,000 square foot pharmaceutical manufacturing facility, which was ultimately located at 3805 Lakeshore Drive East in Dunkirk, New York. Pursuant to the alliance agreement, FSMC subsequently leased the manufacturing facility and certain related manufacturing equipment to Athenix for an initial term of 10 years, with an option to renew for an additional 10 years at a base rent of $2 per year. Athenix is also responsible for paying all utilities, maintenance, and operating expenses, as well as municipal charges and real estate taxes levied against the facility. The company also committed to spend $1.52 billion on raw materials, labor, supplies, equipment, capital expenditures, and other operating costs at the facility during the initial 10-year term. To exercise its renewal option, Athenix would have had to commit to make an additional $1.5 billion in expenditures on operating costs. Further, Athenix committed to add 450 permanent jobs during the first 5 years after completion of this manufacturing facility. Athenix's failure to meet its spending, employment, or other obligations would constitute an event of default under both the alliance agreement and the lease. Athenix has provided notice to FSMC that it has entered into an agreement to sell and assign to Immunity Bio, Inc. all of its rights and obligations with respect to the manufacturing facility, including those under the lease and alliance agreement. Immunity Bio, which is a late clinical stage immunotherapy company developing next generation therapies for defeating cancers and infectious diseases, intends to commence manufacturing at the Dunkirk facility soon. Immunity Bio is a NASDAQ listed company with market capitalization estimated at approximately $2.4 billion. The assignment transaction between Athenix and Immunity Bio is subject to FSMC's consent, which FSMC cannot reasonably withhold. Given the economic development benefits that will continue to be realized with the transaction, FSMC seeks approval to deliver its consent to the assignment transaction, subject to and conditional upon the execution and delivery of the following agreements. 1, the consent and release agreement. FSMC seeks authorization to enter into an agreement which sets forth FSMC's consent to the assignment transaction, subject to the execution of the below referenced amendment to the alliance agreement and amendment to the manufacturing facility lease, and addresses various other matters related to the assignment transaction. Amendment to the alliance agreement. FSMC seeks authorization to enter into an amendment to the alliance agreement with Athenix to remove the references and obligations related to the manufacturing facility, including Athenix's investment and job creation commitments at the manufacturing facility, all of which will become the obligation solely of Immunity Bio pursuant to an amendment to the manufacturing facility lease. And 3, amendment to the manufacturing facility lease. FSMC seeks authorization to enter into an amendment to the manufacturing facility lease with Immunity Bio to, among other things, incorporate the investment obligations and job creation commitments of Immunity Bio at the manufacturing facility. The Finance Committee approved a resolution 1, approving and authorizing the corporation to deliver its consent to the assignment transaction, enter into the consent and release agreement, and execute amendments to the alliance agreement and the manufacturing facility lease on the terms stated in the memorandum that was provided to the board in advance of this meeting. 2, approving and authorizing the president, chief financial officer, and treasurer, each of them without the other, on behalf of the corporation, to execute, acknowledge, and deliver the corporation's consent and the aforesaid consent and release agreement and amendments with such changes, variations, omissions, and insertions as the officer of the corporation signing the same shall approve, the execution thereof by such officer to constitute conclusive evidence of such approval, and to take such other actions as are necessary or appropriate to implement and carry out the purposes and intents of the resolution, including without limitation and the execution, acknowledgement, and delivery of other documents and agreements. And the Finance Committee recommends that the full board approve these same actions. So at this time, the requested action is approval of FSMC Resolution number 203. Are there any comments, questions, concerns that you'd like to raise at this time? Hearing none, I will ask each director for his or her vote on the motion, beginning with Michael Abbott.
Aye.
Anita Brown. Christine Chung.
Aye.
Dr. Gross.
Aye.
Heather Hage.
Aye.
Doreen Harris.
Aye.
Dr. Mengling Chow.
Aye.
Ken Tompkins.
Aye.
And I would also like to be recorded in the affirmative. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. The next item on the Finance Committee report is the lease amendment with Air Liquide Electronics US LLP. At this time, I would ask for a motion to consider and adopt a lease amendment with Air Liquide Electronics US LLP.
So moved by Mengling.
Thank you. A second?
Ken, I'll second.
Thank you. So Air Liquide is a company that provides gas and chemical maintenance for the clean rooms. It currently leases 565 square feet of space in C-STEM and 222 square feet of space in NanoFab North, pursuant to a lease which expires on September 23, 2023. Under the proposed amendment, Air Liquide would lease 1,260 square feet of space in C-STEM and 206 square feet of space in NanoFab North for a term that would expire on or about June 30, 2027, which date is dependent on the date of fit-up completion of the space. Air Liquide would have the right to extend the term for 2 additional one-year periods. Rent would be $36.90 per square foot, including utilities and operating expenses, with annual increases of 3% per year. The Finance Committee approved the resolution described in the memorandum provided to the board in advance of this meeting, including a recommendation that the board would approve the same actions. So the requested action is approval of a resolution 1, approving and authorizing the corporation to enter into an amendment to the lease with Air Liquide on the terms stated in the memorandum provided to the board in advance of the meeting. And 2, approving and authorizing the president, chief financial officer, and treasurer, each of them without the other, on behalf of the corporation, to execute, acknowledge, and deliver the aforesaid lease amendment with such changes, variations, omissions, and insertions as the officer of the corporation signing the same shall approve, the execution thereof by such officer to constitute conclusive evidence of such approval, and take such other actions as are necessary or appropriate to implement and carry out the purposes and intents of the resolution, including without limitation the execution, acknowledgement, and delivery of other documents and agreements. Is there any discussion at this point? Any questions? Any comments? Hearing none, I'll ask each director for his or her vote on the motion. Michael Abbott,
Aye.
Anita Brown, Christine Chung,
Aye.
Dr. Doug Gross,
Aye.
Heather Hage,
Aye.
Doreen Harris,
Aye.
Dr. Mengling Chow,
Aye.
Ken Tompkins,
Aye.
and I would also like to be voted in the affirmative. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The final item from the Finance Committee report this morning is a motion related to a lease with Lux Semiconductors, Inc. Could I have a motion to consider and adopt this lease amendment?
Christine Chung, so moved.
Thank you, Christine. A second, please.
Second, Doreen Harris.
Thank you, Doreen. So Lux is an advanced microelectronics startup, which was founded by 2 SUNY Pali alum. It seeks to lease 521 square feet of space in CSTEM for a one-year term at a base rent of $25.52 per square foot. Lux would have the right to extend this term for up to 2 additional one-year terms with annual rent increases of 2% per year. The Finance Committee approved the resolution described in the memorandum, which was provided to you in advance of this meeting, and recommends that the full board approve the same action. The requested action is approval of a resolution approving and authorizing the corporation to enter into a lease with Lux Semiconductors, Inc. on the terms stated in the memorandum provided to you in advance of the meeting. And 2, approving and authorizing the president, chief financial officer, and treasurer, each of them without the other, on behalf of the corporation, to execute, acknowledge, and deliver the aforesaid lease with such changes, variations, omissions, and insertions as the officer of the corporation signing the same shall approve, the execution thereof by such officer to constitute conclusive evidence of such approval, and to take such other actions as are necessary or appropriate to implement and carry out the purposes and intents of the resolution, including without limitation the execution, acknowledgement, and delivery of other documents and agreements. Are there any questions or comments that you have about the resolution? Okay, we'll move on to the vote, starting with Michael Abbott.
Aye.
Anita Brown. Christine Chung.
Aye.
Dr. Doug Rose.
Aye.
Heather Hage.
Aye.
Doreen Harris.
Aye.
Dr. Mengling Shao.
Aye.
Ken Tompkins.
Aye.
And I would also like to be recorded in the affirmative. The ayes have it, and this motion is adopted. And at this time, Dr. Gross, I'll turn the meeting back to you.
Thank you, Kristen, very much for the report. I'd like to ask now, is there any new business to be considered from anyone? Hearing none. Given the change in meeting logistics due to public health concerns, we notified the public of the opportunity to send in comments via email prior to the meeting. We did not receive any comments. Schedule for the next meeting is to be determined, and once finalized, we'll post it on the website. And finally, I'll ask, is there any further business to be considered? Hearing none, since there is none, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn.
So moved. It's Kristen.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Heather.
Thank you, Heather. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. With that, the meeting is adjourned, and have a very nice day. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.